Welcome to the Drama Queen Perspective, a podcast designed to empower, inspire, educate, and entertain. Drama Queen is a philanthropist, educator, business owner, poet, and performer. So you know you will be entertained. Find out what's trending. Get a thumbs up or thumbs down on the hottest restaurants, places, and things. And find out ways to help your business grow. And much, much more. Without further ado, here is your host, Drama Queen.
What's up? It's your girl, Drama Queen, coming to you with another podcast and YouTube video today. Now, honey, today is going to be a little different. This video is a video that I debated back and forth if I wanted to do, and I decided to go ahead and go for it. With everything that's going on in the media right now, with all of these cheating scandals and allegations with different people that are in the public eye. And so I want to take a different look than most may take on the subject of infidelity. And so thank you so much for stopping by. I think you will find this episode very, very, very interesting. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and that bell so you will be notified when new episodes for the podcast or the YouTube channel will be uploaded. Now that we got the logistics out of the way, let's dive into today's episode about cheated versus cheater. And is there a difference? And can you forgive a cheater versus someone that just cheated on you? Let's go ahead and dive into it. So to start off, I want to take the dictionary definition of infidelity or cheating. The definition is the action or state of being unfaithful to a spouse or other sexual partner. Let me read that again. Infidelity or cheating is the action or state of being unfaithful to a spouse or other sexual partner. All right, so one of the first things that I want to kind of dive into to start this episode off is I have always been a fan of Shaquille O'Neal. And I was watching YouTube yesterday and I ran across this interview that someone that was had on Shaq's podcast, and someone tried to question him about what's going on with Nia Long and her spiritual husband, fiance, boyfriend, baby daddy, however you would like to identify him. Let's go ahead and listen to what Shaq had to say, and then let's talk about it.
Well, on Shaq's podcast, The Big Podcast with Shaq, he answered a question about Ime Udoka and his comments on the whole situation, and what he had to say in response was very interesting.
We have Ime Udoka and the situation going on in Boston.
I am going to step down from this conversation. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
I was a serial cheater. It would be crazy and blasphemous for me to get up here and say, boom, boom, bam. I can't do that. I know these guys personally. I know they're going through a lot because I went through a lot. I just wish that, certain parties weren't involved. Like I've known Nia Long for a long time. I like her. I know Adam for a long time, and they're going through a lot of family stuff. But I'm never the guy that's going to get up here because of my platform and fake it. I did it. I was the best at it. I'm not proud of it. I lost my family doing it. I lost valuable, important years with my children from doing it. So I refuse to get up here. You shouldn't have did this. You shouldn't have did that. I'm not that guy. I'm real with the situation.
He doesn't want to be a hypocrite.
That's real.
This is one of the reasons why I absolutely love Shaquille O'Neal, because he is not a hypocrite. I already had mad respect for him, but after hearing this interview, I just was like, thank you. Thank you for being real. Thank you for not being a hypocrite. Thank you for being honest enough to say that, hey, I was a serial cheater, and these are the things that being a serial cheater took away from me. Thank you for that, Shaquille O'Neal. So let's talk about the difference between being cheated on and being with a cheater. So in order to talk about it, I want to share a little bit. And this is why I debated if I wanted to do this episode, but sharing is caring, and we can all learn from when people share their stories, their trials, their tribulations, their mistakes, and everything in between. So I'm going to share 2 stories with you guys. I have cheated on someone, and I have been cheated on as well. And so I'm going to use my real life examples to talk about the difference between being cheated on and being with a cheater, because there is a difference. So let's first start off with my story of cheating. I was in my 20s when this happened. At the time, I was engaged, but my fiance and I were not seeing eye to eye. We lived in the same household, but he was from another state, and he decided to just go back home for a little bit and go back home and get his mind right and figure out what he wanted to do in regards to our relationship. And so I was in Kansas City, and he was back at home at his home base. We still talk. We didn't really officially break up, but we were just kind of taking some space and getting to know each other more and reevaluating our relationship before we decided if marriage was something that we wanted to do. So at the time, I was working in a male-dominated industry, and I was the only woman in the office. And one of my homeboys at the time, now my frat brother, he was like, man, don't no real dude leave. Like, no, man, He was like, you know what, just keep your options open. He was like, just talking to you like a brother, keep your options open. And he said, I actually have a frat brother that I think y'all would be like great together. And I was like, whatever. So I just kind of let it go because I knew I was in a relationship, more so a situationship. But back then we didn't have, it wasn't called situationship, but I was in a situationship. So I don't remember, again, this was 15, 20 plus years ago. I think I want to say after an argument with my guy that I was in a situationship with, I decided to go to work and tell a boy, all right, go ahead. Let me meet this friend of yours. Let me see what he's about. So I met him, and there was an instant connection. Then we found out that we were in school, at the same school together. We ended up having class together. We ended up spending a lot of time together. I was interested in starting a business. He was interested in starting a business. He started a couple businesses while we were getting to know each other. And I ended up like really, really, really liking this dude. I was spending a lot of time with him because my situationship was hundreds of miles away. And I found myself distancing myself from my situationship to be with this guy that was here locally. We got physical. Things got physical between us. And that kind of drew us closer. Well, I got found out, and it really was too close to home. We ended up having a mutual friend, but I won't get into the whole story of how I got caught, but I'll tell you that, I'll say this. His friend, I end up meeting his friend that lived out of town. I guess I'll go ahead and dive into it. End up meeting his friend that lived out of town. We had went out to First Fridays. This was popular back then. First Friday event. And I end up meeting his friend. Well, his friend came in town, and his friend's mother and my mother were good friends. I had no idea that the friend's son was going to go to my mother's house and meet my mother the very next day, on that next Saturday. Well, my mother still had pictures up of my fiance and I. And so when the friend goes over there and meets my mother and, sees a picture and it's like, well, who is this? Oh, well, that's my daughter and her fiance. Needless to say, I lost a very, very dear, close friend, even to this day. I regretted it. He called me. He confronted me. I was very, very honest with him, which I should have been upfront. My assumption in my 20s was that, his homeboy knew what was up. So I thought that he had, let his boy know, like, well, she's in a situationship. But in actuality, it wasn't his homeboy's responsibility. It was my responsibility, not his homeboy's. And so the feeling that I felt when he called me and asked me who this dude was, and I told him, it just made me feel like crap. And I was like, I don't ever want to feel this way again. And the payback was real because, this was, I want to say 2000 and maybe 5 or 6. I was in a play and he was going to come to the play. And he was invited, you know your play dates well in advance. Well, he still came to support me in the play, but he bought a date. I was backstage livid. My girlfriend had came in town from St. Louis to see the play. I'm on the phone with her. I'm backstage. I'm yelling. I'm pissed. How could he come and bring this bitch? And da-da-da-da-da-da. So I cheated. That was the one and only time that I have ever cheated on someone, because I did not like the way that it made me feel. I did not like the way that it made the guy feel. And I honestly felt like I lost a good friend. And to this day, I still miss him, because before anything, we had friendship. And if we had a real true friendship, I should have been honest and upfront with him and allowed him to make the decision if he wanted to continue with me in my situationship or not. But knowing that he was a good dude, I was like, he ain't gonna want to be fooling with this situationship. So I just decided to hide it, and I cheated, but I'm not a cheater, because I made that mistake once and I've not done it again. Now, let's talk about the time that I was cheated on. I was dating a guy and I just felt like something didn't feel right. When we have intuition, God has given us intuition so we can know things, feel things, and act up on those things, or at least research those things to try to protect our heart. I had that intuition. I was made aware by one of my sorority sisters, but unfortunately, due to a situation that I had had with her and something that had happened with her and another gentleman, I didn't have full trust in her. So I had to experience it and witness it for myself. And so this particular gentleman was in the military and was getting ready to leave the area where he was at in Kansas City with me, and he was going to go work for the military full time. And we were supposed to hang out, and plans kept changing. There were other signs there, but I just didn't know if I was being paranoid. That was the question I was saying. I don't know if I'm being paranoid or if it's my intuition. It was my intuition. So that particular night before he left, we didn't hang out. And I remember feeling like I was being violently woke up out of my sleep. And that was God waking me up saying, hey, you asked for answers. I'm going to give it to you. And I felt this spirit say, go to his house. So I went to the house, knocked on the door, nothing. Knocked on the door, nothing. His car is outside. Knocked on the door, nothing. So I leave. The spirit comes back to me like, nah, you need to go back. And I remember calling my girlfriend, and she's like, Shanice, just go home. And I was like, okay. So I turned around, and I was going home, and I was like, nah, man, I gotta know. So I went back to the house, and I started banging on the door, and I hear a girl in the background. She's yelling like, oh, crap. So I remember calling my sorority sister, and I'm like, do you have some bail money? Because I'm about to go to jail. I'm about to beat up bitch's ass. And the girl runs in the back. He comes out, and I ball up my fist, and I just punch his ass. And he's like, he used to call me Freckles. Freckles, let me explain. Make a long story short, upon further investigation, it wasn't just that chick and I. There were 4 other chicks after I did my intensive research. And on his 30th birthday, we all got on the phone and confronted him, which was very, 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 very exciting. The good thing that came out of my situation was when I reached out to all of the girls, my main thing was get tested for an STD, because if it's 6 of us that we know about, it's probably more like 10 or 12. He is a habitual cheater. He had women in various states. He was on a dating app while dating me. And then I found out later that when we met, he was in a whole relationship, got his car keyed when she found out about me, and he told me a whole nother story. That is history of a serial cheater. I cheated. I did it once. I did not like the way it made me feel. I did not like the way it made the other gentleman feel. And I will be honest with you guys, when I cheated, years later, I end up telling my fiance, after we broke up, because we're still friends to this day. And it's just like, I can't have a friendship with you and not be honest. And so I told him, hey, I just feel like I need to tell you, when we were together and we were in that little, transition stage, I cheated on you with ABC. And he was like, I know. Like, you used to talk about it, because I was bold with it. I was like, oh, I'm about to go over ABC's house. You going over his house? Oh, yeah, we got to study. We got class together. But it wasn't how I said. It wasn't what I said. It was how I said it. The way I said it. So I think that it's easier to forgive and move on in a relationship if someone cheated on you versus if they are a cheater. So let's talk about some statistics. Here. One study that I found said that 20% of married men cheated on their spouse at least once in their relationship, compared to only 13% of married women. It's not that big of a difference. So let's look at the top 10 adultery statistics according to ryanhart.org. The first statistic is 20% of married men have cheated on their wives. Just said that. 13% of married women have cheated on their husbands. 40% of adults that cheated on their spouse had become divorced. Now, we are again talking about married couples. We're not talking about unmarried. We're talking about married on a lot of these statistics. So I will be sure to identify if the statistic is for married or unmarried. Okay. This one is over 60% of cheating women said their partners are more attractive than their lovers. So 60% of cheating women said their partners, so their spouse, their husband, are more attractive than their lovers, the person that they're cheating with. Interesting. Another adultery statistic. 89% of cheating women report that the man that they're cheating with makes them feel more appreciated than their significant other. This goes into the fact that women, when women cheat, we cheat more on an emotional level. With men cheating, a lot of the times it's more physical than emotional. When I cheated, it was emotional. It was emotional and it was physical. It was emotional. It was physical. It was mental. It was spiritual. It was all of the above. All right, let's go ahead and move on to another adultery statistic. Only 30% of cheating men said that they have mistresses who are younger than their current partners. Okay? Next statistic. 18% of millennial participants engaged in sexual talk online with someone besides their partner. So that goes into what is actually considered cheating. Because to me, I would rather you have a physical relationship or a physical cheating than emotional. Because I feel like it's easier to cut the the physical than the emotional. And when you're talking to somebody every day and you're looking forward to talking to them and how was your day and what happened at work, that can get deep. And that goes into the next statistic, that 75% of adults believe that an emotional relationship with another person is considered unfaithful behavior. Absolutely. I would take physical relationship over emotional. Two more facts. 24% of unmarried couples reported engaging in sexual talk online with someone besides their partner. And the last statistic, 75% of married Americans think that marital infidelity is always wrong. Interesting. I want to hear you guys' thoughts in the chat. What do you think about these statistics? I mean, this is just interesting to me because being a person that has cheated and being a person that has dated a serial cheater, it's like, wow, this is just very, very interesting. So let's talk about the 8 main reasons why, according to Psychology Today, that people cheat. 77% of people that took a survey said that they cheat simply because they fell out of love. And I'm like, dude, well, just talk to the person, tell them. But a lot of times people are not strong enough and don't have enough balls to do that. 74% of people said that they cheat because infidelity is not a response to a problem with an existing relationship. It's just a reaction to boredom. They need variety. More men explain their infidelity to needing variety than women. So they need something different. So this is why it's important that you're talking about sex. Having good sex is physical, but it's more about communication. Hey, I don't like it when you do it. Ooh, I love it when you do that. Blah, blah, blah. It's about communication because what you used to do to please your old partner may not please your new partner. Okay? Third reason why people cheat. 70% of the people said that they cheat because they feel neglected. So similar to feeling like a lack of love, some people just engage in infidelity because their partner is not giving them the attention that they need. This here is why it is important to understand your lover's love language. Because if your love language is one way and you're loving him that way or loving her that way, and that is not their love language, then they will feel neglected. And you may think, but I did A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But is that their love language? 70% cheat because they feel neglected. All right. 70% also said that they cheat due to situational forces. Drama queen, what in the heck do you mean by situational forces? Again, not every act of infidelity is premeditated or driven by not being satisfied in your relationship. Situational forces could be things like drinking, doing drugs, being on a vacation. More men use this as a reason than women, but usually it's things like outside forces like alcohol, drugs. But in my opinion, it's something that you had already thought about before, but you just have that alcohol or those drugs and it intensifies it and it gives you the balls to say, you know what, screw life, screw the consequences. I'm going to just do it. All right, the fifth reason why people cheat is to boost their self-esteem. That is 57% of people that took this survey said that they cheated to boost their self-esteem. It was, it's a feeling of, okay, I still am desirable. People still do want me. People do find me sexy. Well, hold on now. Let me see how many people find me sexy. Wait a minute. I got some. Let me start doing my hair more and putting on some makeup and dressing sexy and see. Oh, I like this attention I'm getting from these men. 57% indicated that enhancing their self-esteem was a motive for their cheating. All right. 43% of people said that they cheated out of anger, revenge. I'll admit, part of the reason I cheated was revenge. It was. So of the reasons that we've covered so far, I cheated because I fell out of love. I cheated for variety. I cheated because I felt neglected. He left me. I cheated situational forces. I met this guy. We were drinking. We were already spending time. We enjoyed each other. I cheated to boost my self-esteem. I had this fiance, but then he left. I cheated out of anger. Why would you leave me if you really love me? 43% of people said that they cheated as a way to punish a partner or enact revenge. I get it. 2 more reasons we'll discuss why people cheat. Not feeling committed. 41% of people say that they cheat because they have low levels of commitment. And, this is where communication comes in play. Lack of love, lack of commitment, both equal dissatisfaction. My ex-fiance's mother used to give me this scenario, and I want to leave you as we're getting close to the end of how a relationship could fail or work. She said a relationship is like a bank. You cannot have more withdrawals coming out than you do deposits. The deposits and the withdrawals have to be balanced. They may not be balanced all the time, But overall, it may be 60-40, it may be 70-30, but that 30-70, it may switch one time, but it has to be balanced. And the last reason that we will discuss why people cheat, and this is 32% of the people, is because of sexual desire. This could lead to, or this could be because one partner needs sex more. This could be because one partner wants to try a different style of sex, and whether they've communicated that with their partner or not, maybe they did communicate it with their partner, and their partner's like, I ain't doing that, but they still love their partner. Or maybe they communicated with their partner and their partner couldn't rise to the occasion like they wanted them to. The other reason, because of the sexual desire, is because of specific sexual behaviors that they want. Maybe you want a threesome and they know that their current spouse is not going to do that. Maybe they want, to bring toys into the bedroom. Maybe they want to bring food into the bedroom. Maybe they have these different thoughts and behaviors that they want to try, but their spouse is not open to it, so they go elsewhere. So those are just a few cheating statistics. One of the things that I want people to stop doing, especially with women, is when a woman is cheated on, I've heard it with Nia Long, and it's upset me numerous times. Well, what's wrong with Nia? She must have some bad cat. What? Stop that. If a man wants to cheat, he's gonna cheat. The saying is, ain't nothing better than some coochie than some new coochie. That is just the way it is. We can't play the blame game. Now, some people are saying, why is it that she keeps getting into relationships with people that cheat on her and then she stays with them? Is some type of behavior? Maybe. So I'll leave you with this question, and let's talk about it in the comments. Do you think that you would be able to forgive somebody that simply cheated and made one mistake? How do you know that person simply cheated and they're not a habitual cheater? Or once you have proof that somebody's cheated more than once, does that make them a habitual cheater? And does that mean that it's time to go? I don't know. Let's talk about it in the comments.
Thanks for listening to the Drama Queen Perspective. Be sure to like and subscribe this podcast and share with the drama queens in your life. Until next time, this has been the Drama Queen Perspective.